Hi and welcome. I'm Janet Allison, and along with my colleague Deanna Lamb, we are getting so excited about the Rites of Passage event that's coming up in October 22nd to November 2nd. We have got some amazing speakers for you, and as a little tease to get ready for this event, we wanted to share with you some of our own work that we've been passionate about for so long. So I am the author of Boys Alive Bring Out Their Best, and even though I'm the mom of two girls, I have worked with many boys in my years of teaching and am so fascinated with the differences between boys and girls. And I know that you know, if you've parented or taught or watched boys and girls even on the playground, you know how different they really are. So I want to share with you some gender differences today that you may not be so familiar with. Of course, we know about the gender differences in play, and the boys that want to make the baby into a truck or a rocket or a gun, and the girls who take the truck and wrap it in a blanket. That's kind of pretty standard gender differences, but I want to go a little more deeply this time, and I do want to say that some of this work comes from Michael Gurian and also Michael Thompson, and both of these fine gentlemen, are going to be on our Rites of Passage event, and I've had the pleasure to interview both of them, and I think you'll be really, really excited about the insights that they have to share with you. So let's take a glimpse at gender differences and think of it as a foundation for understanding. It may sound a little stereotypical, and I don't want you to think about that in that way, but just know that this can lend you insights into your boys, your girls, your men, your women, and it enhances relationships. So I think it's just fascinating work. It really is. There are over 100 brain differences between males and females. 100. That's in structure, chemical, hormonal differences. That's all of that. Differences that we can now look at scientifically, and especially with brain scans, we've got a whole new way of exploring the brain and seeing differences in gender. I want to start with hearing. Do you ever feel like your boy or your man isn't hearing you? I know. It does happen, and not that it doesn't happen with females, and that's true too, but there is actually a really famous study that was done with premature infants in a ICU, and they were hummed the Brahms lullaby over a series of many days. And what they discovered in this study was that the girls who had been hummed this Brahms lullaby actually were released on average 12 days earlier than the boys that were hummed the Brahms lullaby. So this really interested the researchers. What was going on with this? And what they found out was that actually the boy babies were not hearing the range of sound in that lullaby, and the girls were. So when you know that your boy actually has a narrower range of sound that he's hearing, you will know that you need to speak up if you have a soft female voice. Pay attention if his teacher has a soft female voice. He may not be hearing her. And you can bet if he's not hearing her, he's probably finding other things to do. And he's not worried about not hearing the teacher because he's making all sorts of fun with the stuff in his desk. So take note of that. Boys actually hear male voices better than female voices. And the way you can do that as mom or as female teacher is to go ahead and have your voice be lower and stronger and not so more even tone. So we tend, as women, we tend to be very melodical in our voice tone. This, you want to try to keep it on an even tone and have your inflection go down at the end rather than going up at the end, and boys will tend to hear you better. So that is a difference, a structural difference between hearing in boys and girls, men and women. So take note of that. If your boy or your man isn't hearing you, you can go over and put your hand on their shoulder, have some physical connection between you, and that will help them hear you a little better. All right. Oh, also, I wanted to say, because this is the Rites of Passage event, and we're really thinking about adolescent boys, there is a growth spurt that happens in boys between 11 and 13. As you know, they grow really, really fast. And it's not just on the outside. Inside, their ears are growing really fast as well. And it's as if they just have to shut down for a little bit, a week, and then they can come back and hear you after their ears have kind of had a readjustment in that growth spurt. So there's a time when, you know, he really just can't hear you physically, structurally. Now there's also a difference in crying. And of course there's differences in when boys cry, when girls cry. Of course there's that, and especially we see that as they grow older. But also the tear ducts, the tear glands and the tear ducts are actually structured differently in females and males. And the females have a narrower passage, and so that means the tears stream out and down the cheeks more than males who have a wider passage. And so the tear duct, the tears can just pool right there, and they tend to like just pool in the base of the eye rather than squeezing out and down the cheeks. So if you've noticed that your boy or your man doesn't really cry tears like you do, it's because he has a different eye and tear duct structure than you do. Pretty amazing, isn't it? And another area of really big gender differences that you may have noticed is in their art, in drawing. Boys tend to draw action, and boys tend to use cooler colors. I had a boy in my class one year, and he drew everything in brown. He didn't use any other color. I thought, oh my gosh, something's wrong. What's happening? This boy is disturbed. I don't know. But the next year he started using color. He was just happy with brown. He really liked it that way. And so boys tend to choose cooler colors. Their subject matter differs very much from what girls choose to draw. And girls usually use warmer colors, and they will draw things that are more about relationships, and they tend to draw trees and nature and animals, and you know, it's the proverbial unicorns and rainbows that girls tend to choose. And boys kind of choose gross things to draw, if you've noticed. The spaceships, the aliens, the blood raining down, and all of that. And we as teachers and parents, if we can accept this gender difference in how our children draw, we can make boys feel as supported as we do our girls. You know, it's really easy to say, oh, what a beautiful flower. Oh, look at that little fairy house. And we forget to really acknowledge the boys for the amazing spaceship that they've drawn. And wow, there's a lot of aliens coming out of that spaceship down to the ground. So make it as supported as you would with girls. And another area that we began this talk with is about their play and how they play so differently. Boys are physical, they're action oriented, they may seem aggressive, they want that physical contact, and they are impulsive. So they tend to, you know, bump into things, and they don't really care as much as girls about their physical mishaps. So notice that there's differences in play and begin to accept and be okay with that. And I think so much of this is about educating yourself so that you know what is happening between your girls and your boys, and you'll understand yourself better. You'll understand the men in your life or the women in your life better. In my Boys Alive workshops, I often have men come up to me with tears pooling in their eyes, not coming down their cheeks, but pooling there, saying, I understand myself better. And isn't that what this is all about? That we can understand ourselves better, that we can understand our children better, that we can enhance relationships. And Deanna and I believe that we are really helping to bring back this sense of importance about rites of passage and understanding how males approach this dramatic phase of their life and how females approach it. It is different. There's differences, yet there's similarities. They all need that sense of passage, that sense of challenge, that they've risen to the occasion and they are strong and they've prevailed. So we hope that you will tune in to the Rites of Passage event. I hope that these gender differences have been interesting to you. You will learn more things in my book, Boys Alive Bring Out Their Best, and I'll also be including all of this information for you in a PDF form, so you've got the video and the PDF, whether you like to listen or read. And also make a comment down below. That would be awesome. I would love to hear how you experience gender differences in your life. What do you observe? What do you see? And how do you handle it? We're going to be on there. We'll be reading your comments and answering them, and it'll be great to have a conversation going around that. So go ahead and leave a comment below, and we will see you on October 22nd at the ritesofpassageevent.com. We'll be sending you call-in information, and you'll also be signed up for Deanna's newsletter that comes in email, and also my newsletter, Boys Alive Bring Out Their Best. So we're happy to share those resources with you. At the end of the event, we'll be letting you know about all of the incredibly cool things that we are packaging together for you so that you can have resources galore. And be sure to check out the speakers on ritesofpassageevent.com and you'll meet all the speakers that will be there, and I think you're really going to like it. This is our second annual event, and we are just getting geared up and really excited. So see you then.